Halloween is a new horror film, a slasher film directed by David Gordon Green. It is a sequel to the first film, the 1978 John Carpenter film, skipping all of the other sequels and reboots. It's a sort of do-over 40 years later. So I was really excited for this film. I think the thing that gave the film the legitimacy would be Jamie Lee Curtis being in it, for one thing, as well as being directed by David Gordon Green. He's done a lot of good movies. I really like Snow Angels. I don't really like Pineapple Express, but that's more of an action film. So I was excited because I'm a big Halloween fan, and this story, I felt the movie was not that great. Honestly, the movie is very bland and generic in my opinion. There's a lot of filler getting started to get to Michael Myers escaping and everything. The movie takes too long to get things going. And I like the whole Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie is now, living as an invalid, sort of agoraphobic in her house, lined up with weapons and traps. I like that. And she also has like a fractured relationship with her own daughter and granddaughter. However, those characters don't get enough screen time. They keep sort of moving on to these journalists, and then there's all these victims that Michael has. And the movie just has terrible pacing issues. The last 20 minutes is great, but the rest of the movie just so slow getting up to the finale. Another thing that irked me was that they showed Michael's human side a little too much. They kept showing like sides of his face and showing him without the mask and showing him getting injured and things like that, getting knocked out. I did not like that. Michael Myers is supposed to be the shape. He's supposed to be an embodiment of evil. And it definitely kind of like feels like it sort of ruins his character a little bit to see him so vulnerable. And the movie it has like some pretty cool kills, but a lot of it is just mostly homages to the first film. Like there's a sheriff character who's actually the deputy from the first film. There's a new doctor that wants to study Michael. There's new victims, but they don't really have any theme. The movie doesn't have any identity of its own or themes. And anything beyond the whole Michael as a super killer, it just feels like a little, like you could change the name from Halloween to Devil's Night, switch the mask, switch the names of all the characters, and you wouldn't tell that it is a Halloween movie. It doesn't have that uniqueness to it, I guess. The movie can only do so much to stay tied in with the first film, but the only thing giving this movie any credibility is Jamie Lee Curtis and her solid performance, as well as Judy Greer. She also does a really good job. However, the movie just feels a little bit hollow. I mean, every time I saw Michael Myers without the mask at the side of his face, it just reminded me of Mike from Breaking Bad. And like, the movie has a good finale. I was entertained throughout the movie, but there's a lot of like filler. Like there's these teen characters that hang out with Laurie Strode's granddaughter. And then there's the whole police side, and there's just too much talking. They should really, the movie feels more like a thriller and a drama than it does like a horror film. I didn't really like that. They were trying to modernize it by making the movie more realistic or having characters talk about how, the Michael Myers incident wasn't that big considered, like it wasn't that violent in terms of things that happened in the modern day era. However, the movie just doesn't go far enough with those, that subject matter. This movie feels like a very generic movie. You could have just called it Psycho Man. It'd be the same movie. It's like, it needed more, I thought. So I give Halloween a 4 out of 10.